about FBA. So can you introduce yourself, Bro Sanchez, and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Salutes to you guys. Thanks for having me again. Like you said, I teach a wide array of topics, and that's because I am a syncretist. And a syncretist is a person that advocates or practices syncretism, which is the merging or blending of distinct and sometimes opposing beliefs, cultures, and philosophies. So I can show you the unity between Christianity, Islam, Buddhism. Every different school of thought in the world is just a different dialect of one universal spiritual system that we had at some point in the past. There was no separation where your God versus my God, your faith versus my faith, because these weren't faith systems. They were knowledge systems at first. And the knowledge was interpreted in many different ways. And that became many different religious systems over time once we lost the original meaning. But that in a nutshell it explains, that in a nutshell will explain why I cover so many different topics. Because when you're syncing different things together, you're connecting all these different dots. So I just wanted to be clear what I do syncretism. And besides that, when it comes to FBA ain't really something I do, it's just something I am. I think all of you guys, I don't know your ethnicity, but I would think that you guys are Black Americans, right? Are you a Black American, Sister Freedom?
Yes,
See,
I am. I'm sorry. I am. Yes, I'm definitely FBA.
and see, it's because
I'm a copper color American. Yes.
There we go. A beautiful one. And it's only when we put foundational in front of it that I think people get crazy. Because if I say, what up, my Black American? Yeah, what up, man? But what up, my foundational Black American? So I don't understand. Maybe I can clear up some and bring clarity. But thanks y'all for, doing this with me.
Bro Sanchez, just one who's out there in the fight to teach. Bro Sanchez, you got the story right, and now I see, yeah. Bro Sanchez. Bro Sanchez, just one who's out there in the fight to teach. Bro Sanchez, you got the story right, and now I see, yeah.
I think it'll bring a lot of clarity.
Well, I'm going to ask the first question. And now that you mentioned foundational, and I want you to explain that so, the people can understand why it's important that we use the word foundational Black American.
Peace and love, everybody. We back in the we back in the building. Drop a warning if y'all can hear me. Salutes, we are back. Shout out to the FBA family out there, to the Flat Power community out there. Let's get it in. Let's review this video and let's talk about it. I'm going to be dropping the call-in link, and that is only for disagreements only. Disagreements only.
And I had another question to go with that. And well, just if you could just answer that, that would be my first question. Why is it important to use foundational in front of Black American?
It's just a term to specify a different group. So if we wanted to be specific about, let's say, Jay-Z's lineage or my lineage, because I know I don't have African ancestry. We ain't gonna go into the whole out of Africa theory. We're just gonna deal with the whole, genealogy or whatever. But the thing is, when it comes to FBA, the reason we want to put the foundational in front of it, because there's a lot of Black Americans walking around in America right now, but they all don't specifically refer to who we call the Nagas, the N-I-G-G-A's, the one. So there's different types of Black American. We know there's different types of everything. Even when I was in Korea, they specify with different groups and stuff like that. But it's not division. It's just for, if you wanted to target a certain dynamic, you would have these terms for your convenience. Shout out to Adam H. Adam H. Appreciate the love, man. So if I say FBA, I bet you nobody on this panel don't deny who I'm talking about. I bet y'all know who I'm talking about. And that was the whole goal of it. There was nothing that really specified a particular group, because Black American is just vague. Anybody can be a Black American, even if you're Nigerian, if you're, you got Black Asians. Black skin being in America makes you a Black American. But that don't mean all of us are ethnically the same. So I guess what Tariq Nasheed was trying to do was give Black people something that everybody said we never had, which was an identity, right? So, and I guess people don't like the name that he gave, which is a whole nother debate. But I would say, if you're on a basketball team and all of your people are galvanizing under this name, don't really worry about the name or the color of the uniforms as much as the performance of the team and the unity of the team. Because the name of your team ain't gonna win you the game. So we can debate about what we want to call it, but the point is, a bunch of people who wasn't playing together are now knowing, oh, this our team, this our uniform. Oh, okay, throw me the ball now.
Okay. Niche, you got a question?
So why is the term African American no longer enough? And what does FBA fix?
Okay. Well, let me ask you one quick question first. Do you think that me and Elon Musk are the same ethnicity?
No.
He's an African American.
Correct.
So the term FBA sets me apart from him, because it makes me a foundational Black American. And now that don't mean I got to deny any African ancestry, because I love Africa. And when it comes to the out of Africa theory, that's just debatable. But I don't think we got to go all the way there, because if the question is, do I have African pride? Of course I do. I love the continent. I talk so much about Egypt. I probably talk about Egypt too much. I should talk more about West African tribes as well. But the thing is, it don't take away my love for the continent. Now, I think a lot of you guys probably be wary of a lot of people who are FBA who do a lot of tether content. They like to argue with Africans. I was going that route at first. It was kind of cool and intriguing. But I quickly stopped that, and I'm just serious about just letting it be known it's only to specify a particular group, and I don't get into all the riffraff with the arguing and the tether stuff no more. I try to set myself apart from that FBA, if that make any sense. But salutes to that. I ain't mad at them.
Thank you.
Yeah, that you made a good point when you said anybody could be a Black American, and I think that's why it's important to delineate. You know what I mean? I mean, that would make sense, right? But I know for me, you know, Black does not denote ethnicity, doesn't denote race, doesn't denote culture, right? So, but my question to you, just pushing forward with that thinking, is like, historically speaking, do you think that the collective identifying as Black has advanced us? You know, if you think about just like throughout the decades, or you could even take it back to 1400s, 1600s and onwards.
I think identifying collectively as Black hasn't helped us. I think what it did is obscure us and make us easy to exploit, because the specific group of people we're talking about here have done great things, but everyone else can latch on to those things with such vague terms like we all Black, right? See, if a Jamaican man was on a call, I can't say we all Jamaican, right, my brother? But I can say we all Black. So the Jamaican man would say, brother, you're not Jamaican. Now quit cosplaying as, you know, my people. But I'm still your Black brother, Sanchez, but you're not no doggone Jamaican, right? And it'll be an insult for me to put dreads on and be like, yeah, man, you know, I mean, you're Bati boy, however they talk or whatever. I'm just saying it'll look goofy for me to cosplay these people. So I think a lot of FBAs say when you come over here and you have a culture like that, just be yourself. People teach us that, be yourself. It will look weird for me to go to another country and act like the people there, but people do that all the time when they come to here from America, and it's not really a good thing for us. Waters down our greatness, if you ask me. I can go more into detail of how, but I think you guys probably realize how.
Well, before you were saying about like judging FBA based on performance, when we're talking about the FBA's performance, is it the amount of people that galvanize under the term FBA because they're foundational Black American, or is it about politics or political achievements, or what would that performance be based on?
The act of galvanization. Because one thing with Black people, you can't accomplish nothing if you can't come together. And we so divided with Christian, Muslim, Hebrew Israelite, Moor, Nawapian. It's so many divisive things that if someone sit back and say, how do I unite all of these people who divided under all of these groups without disturbing their little religions, though, without even making them give up their religion? You would find a way to put all of those divisive groups under one relatable umbrella that no one can deny. Now, this is very simple stuff, correct? So far, is everyone tracking with me? Because I want the people who saying, well, FBA is some agent stuff, Sanchez gotta be an agent. I want the people who saying, if you're pushing Black and white, you're an agent. Because the problem is, the colors Black and white exist, the social political status is Black and white exists, and we operate within them. And we do it whether we like it or not. So if a person wanna ask me, do I agree with us calling ourselves Black? I don't agree with the word Black. I don't even like the word Black. I think I'm against the word Black, but it's there. You ain't gonna change it. I'm not gonna change it. That's for damn sure. You is not gonna convince every Black person in America, in the world, hey, let's get rid of the word Black. That's a waste of damn time. It's a cop-out. It's a cop-out to not do what we can do, to argue about shit we can't do. That's right! Now stop me when I lie. Let's play the video. Yes, and drop a 1 if my audio is clear. My bad. I freaking had the studio mic set up. My bad. I got 2 different mics, one for the studio booth for the rapping and one for the podcasting. but I got one interface and I actually had the wrong mic plugged up. Now, drop a 1 now. Sorry about that. Everything I was saying, I'm going to have to cut all that out, but I'll repeat what I was saying now. I dropped the link out there and I want people to come up for smoke. And the whole smoke is, if people saying FBA is divisive, come up, because I just said a statement in the video. FBA give a bunch of people that was divided, calling themselves black Christian, black Muslim, black Moor, black Nuwapian, but none of them working together like that, because there's really none official to put all of this blackness under. But this black people we call them black have been divided and conquered. And you got Christians versus Muslims, you got Moors versus, you just got all these different ideologies. I think FBA gave every black person, no matter what your divisive little ideology is, or whether you're a liberal or a Republican, a moniker to a symbol under that's covers, it's a cover all. It covers all. It covers everyone and excludes anyone who's not us. And nothing else have done that. Think about that. If you black and your lineage ties back to this land, FBA covers every single one of you, no matter if you're a Christian, Muslim, Democrat, Republican. But it cancels out anyone who's not. People, that's dangerous. That's exclusivity. And what's happening is you got a group of people who late as fuck when it comes to practicing tribalism. That's right. Instead of everyone saying, damn, black people, y'all late as hell. We all been formed tribes, nigga. Welcome to the damn tribe club, nigga. Right? Everyone hating on the new tribe on the block. Saying that's division, man. Wait a minute, man. Everybody in the made tribes around this bitch. And the response should have been, you niggas is late. Look at black folks, y'all. They finally got a tribe together and they came together with some kind of identity after all these years divided without no identity. And you other groups even joked on us for that. Y'all ain't got no identity, no culture. And then when this band try to give you one, see, it ain't about whether I like Tariq or not. It's the fact that we're late as hell to the world party when it comes to tribalism. That's right! I'm talking late. Imagine a tribe still being formed in 2026, my nigga. You won't see it. You won't see it, bro. That's like a new NFL team right now come out tomorrow. And when that new NFL team join the league, they say, that's division, man. Hold up. No matter if you're a Hebrew Israelite or more or whatever, you can say, well, I am a foundational black American too, because I'm a black man in America and we built the foundation to this mug. And not everyone can say that, so it automatically puts us over here. And it gives us an exclusive identity based upon a wonderful achievement, which is being the foundation of this country. Mm-hmm. So, you know what I'm saying?
I want to say that I agree with everything that you're saying. By not realizing how important it is for us to accept that we are the foundational copper color, if you want to say, or black Americans here. I mean, everything that pretty much came from us. Everybody has copied off of everything that we have pretty much invented, such as rap, the way we dance, the way our style is, the way we carry ourselves, and all the achievements that we have. It seems like every other particular race has copied off of things that we do.
Another thing I wanted to point out, I don't know if I pointed it out, but FBA is a perfect coverall for anyone that's black and has lineage ties to the land, but it excludes anyone who's not. And I challenge anyone to call in and tell me what else we got like that. Because the closest thing would be the Nation of Islam, but it's not a coverall. Because, for example, right, you can't be certain things and be in the Nation of Islam. You can't be no coon, bootlicking conservative with a MAGA hat on in the Nation of Islam. They gonna check you. They gonna it's everything that the Nation of Islam despise. Like you can't be some far right conservative and be in the NOI. But in FBA, you can be a far right coon. You can be a pro-black nationalism. It's a Buddhist. It's just mean is you black and is your lineage to the land. That's such a vague coverall but it's only for a specific group. Let me show you the genius in it. It's a huge umbrella for that group of people who divided into different false identities to capture all of them. It's a big net, but the net still ain't big enough to capture the tethers. That's right. And I challenge anyone to tell me anything else that's like that, dog. I've thought about this. I don't support. Let me tell you something about me, because I don't mind confessing and telling the truth about myself. I'm a argumentative nigga. I like to debate. I like to find where your shit wrong at before I even look at where it's right at. That's the kind of dude I am. And I have no problem knowing who I am. So I took that mindset to FBA. And I wanted to be against it. I wanted to be against Tariq. But I had to say, damn, now, hold on now. Yeah, I can't go. This will make me a hypocrite going against that. You know what I'm saying? Even no matter what, and Tariq ain't perfect, but you can't deny that. Like I said, if you want to deny this, brother, then tell me something else like it. There was several attempts. You had NBA, you got ADOS. It's not like he's doing something new. He just did it better. I mean, you got to admit he did. Think that's where a lot of the hate come from, but I don't know. I can let people come up and speak for themselves. I'll be dropping the Zoom link throughout the call, but it will be only for smoke. It will be only for smoke. We have a first caller on right now. And the Zoom call will be only for smoke. Shout out to my sister Alexis. How you doing, Alexis?
Peace and love, Sanchez. Peace and love to all the sisters.
It's good to see you.
I just heard all the causes for smoke. I ain't really had none.
Nah, you good. I know you went up for smoke. It's all good.
Can we hear them through the Zoom call or no?
The people that's joining the call won't be able to hear the video that I'm playing. But I
Okay.
can set it up to do that though. Let me see.
Yeah, because I don't
And
want to be chiming in while somebody else talking, you know?
yeah. And if you in the chat room, if you got smoke for FBA, join the call. To the people in the chat room, I got a goal set up. You can open it up, read it, and decide if you would like to support today's show. I want people to know something. I'm my own individual man who think for myself, and I don't think that black people's enemy is white people. I don't. Now, I do consider myself FBA, but I am not a separatist. Let me play the video. A person may say, Sanchez, how you ain't gonna be for separatism, but you for delineation? And that's the conversation I eventually want to get to. Separatism and delineation is different. Because what separatism says is, I'm going to work with only my people and nobody else when it comes to all aspects of my life, food, economics, you name it. I'm only working with my people. That's separatism. Delineation is I'm just identifying who my people are out of everyone else, but I'm not telling my people what to do. I'm not being their God or nothing. I'm not telling them you can't do this or do that. I'm just telling them, hey, you, me, him, and him, we're on the same team. This is our team right here. Y'all, you get what I'm saying, chat room? So it's two different things. Separatism is me telling the group of people that's practicing separatism to separate from everyone else. And that means in separating by doing business, even with dating. In my opinion, this can go so extreme as you can't even eat other cultures' foods. We only eat our food. How much you want to separate from everything. That's different than a group of people saying, hey, we don't have an identity. Let's carve one out of the false one they've given us. And have an exclusive, specific name to define and specify who we are so we can establish what's ours versus what's not, because we got tethers claiming our shit because we have a vague umbrella and it groups all of them under it too. But once we put this one adjective in front of Black America, you put foundational in front of it, it changes everything. Like Tariq didn't create a new name. He revised an old one. That's right. And why y'all mad? Because the revision is quite genius. He didn't do nothing but add the word foundation in front of some shit they already was calling you. So if you really zoom out and think about it, niggas is really mad at the word foundation, not the word black, because Tariq didn't call black folks black. Now, my chat room can type the dude name in the chat right now who started calling us black. We weren't called blacks at first, and Tariq didn't have nothing to do with that. He's a victim of it just like you. Because now that we got FBA, people want to say, but the word black is wrong. Why Tariq? Tariq, nigga, we've been using the word. We've been called Black Americans before FBA. Tariq using a word we all been using even before he was damn born. He didn't invent that as a social political status. He just using it because it's there now. It's in our reality. What, are you going to ignore it? It's there. They call you black people, man, whether you like it or not. That's what's on the application and all that. Until it changed, damn it, black. All right. So why do we want to debate about the word black? Because if you really think about it, it ain't really the word black. We've been called Black Americans and nobody cared. All he did was put foundational in front of it. So why are you mad at the word foundational? Because the word foundational is an adjective that explains the fact that if you built this country on the backs of a people, that's the foundation of the house, dude. That's right. You can't build a house on top of none but a foundation. If we all agree that our people helped build a foundation, this shit was built on our backs, then we're the foundation of America. In all ways, the word is appropriate. It describes the group of people we're talking about based upon what they did, which was legendary. They laid the foundation, the cornerstones. Meaning when you come over here, put some respect on a damn name. Just like when you walking in a house, you need to respect the foundation that's holding it up.
Us not recognizing that we are the foundational people of America, Black people of America, I think it hinders and hurts us, and it hurts our past, our ancestors. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do. Wholeheartedly.
Yeah, that was my question. Do you agree with it? Because if we don't do it, what does that say to our ancestors? What did that say about us? You know,
the link to this full video will be in the description to people watching on a replay and throughout the stream. Shout out to everyone, and thank you to the people that donated to the show and to all the channel members.
Well, let me say this. This thing on this this Johnny come lately, I'm gonna say that African American situation. we weren't even using that term. You understand? So now that we are using this term in books that they're writing and things now, it is hurting our youth. Do you think that it's hurting our youth that the books that they're writing now makes it appear that they were writing them in the past? You know what I mean? But they're using the terms African American, and it's playing brain twist with our youth. What do you say about that?
No, I do agree. Most of our youth, they're not connected to the concept of FBA because school makes us all African Americans by default. And one thing they say that the oppressor ain't going to teach us who we are, but the generic terms that they identify us with in school, we wear them proudly.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Nisha?
So how does grouping all Black people under one label, under one broad label, dilute the legal intent of the 14th Amendment?
Dilute the legal intent of the 14th Amendment. How does grouping all Black people dilute the legal intent of the 14th
Right,
Amendment?
under one label, just FBA, just one label. Or does it dilute it?
No, it doesn't. It wouldn't dilute. Birthright citizenship is what we're talking about, right? So I don't understand how it would dilute that. Yeah, I don't understand how delineation would dilute the 14th Amendment. Explain to me how it would. Why would you suggest that that would be a thing that's possible?
No, I was just asking if you think that it could.
Not at all. Not at all. Dilute the 14th Amendment. Am I sure? Yeah, the 14th Amendment, are we dealing with birthright citizenship, right?
Yes, that's the 14th Amendment. That
Right.
all persons born.
Right. So yeah, right. So I think that it would actually, I think the terms they give us undermine us, our birthrights in this land. You know, because the people who are born here who laid the foundation should have an exclusive identity than just everyone else. I think that, you know, you would call it Native American, but we know those terms have been co-opted and made to be all inclusive too. So as of now, I mean, it's just nothing that specifies who we are better than FBA. To a lot of people who have Black pride, please listen to me. You've been bamboozled. You should not be proud of a color called Black because that creates colorism within our own group. Because now the people with the darkest skin that is closest to that color, we look at them like the gods, and we see that happening now, where they will say, well, the darkest women are the better than the light-skinned chicks and all that. But the whole thing is we're playing into their division with the whole, like, I use the word Black for lack of better words. I'm not emotionally attached to a crayon color because my skin ain't black. It's a shade of brownish orange, right? But I'll say this, right? Your pride should come in the legacy of your ancestors. That's right. Think about this. What do you got to do? Just think, you use the word Black like your skin tone to say, well, I'm proud my skin is dark. But think about it. That's a stupid pride to have. That's like saying, I'm proud that my eyes are white. I'm proud that my tongue is pink. You know, you didn't have to do nothing for that. Pride should come from some kind of accomplishment. And you downplay the reason we should be proud as a people. And we should be proud because of the accomplishments we've done. Regardless if you're a light-skinned nigga, a orange-skinned nigga, a brown-skinned nigga, a copper-colored, red-skinned, mahogany-skinned nigga, or if you a jet black, purple, dark-skinned, blue nigga, I don't care. Because what'll happen, you can have a bunch of dark-skinned niggas that's killing each other. And you can have this one red, high yellow nigga that's doing something for his race, and they will look at him like the enemy and look at his red ass. You know, he ain't got a lot of melanin. and they'll be putting a dark dude on a pedestal and you didn't do, it's just skin, dog. It's skin. It should be your actions. You see what I'm saying? And that's how we've developed a whole false hierarchy on that subconsciously, to where people will share images of dark women that's hella jet black. Like, okay, they didn't do nothing to get that. It was just, dude, it's you born that way. It's being proud for, like, my hair get nappy. I'm proud of that. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, like a fish being proud of its fins. It's yours. You didn't do nothing for that. Now, if you want to be proud that you can use the fins to swim, look, I can swim, Sanchez. That's more better than just, I'm proud I got arms. And I'm proud that the color of those arms is black. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a crazy kind of pride. Like a iguana saying, green pride, nigga, look at this green skin. Like, what have you accomplished, man? As of now. And when it comes to the 14th Amendment, I think this will help us. Instead of, it wouldn't dilute that. I think that it will specify who's been here, who actually has the birthrights. You know what I'm saying? Rights to the land.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, birthright citizenship, that's an interesting term. It's an important term. And I had looked at the FBA flag, and the first thing that caught my attention was the date of, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I haven't looked in a while. I think it says like 1526 or something like that.
You got it?
Yes.
Does that sound about right? And I was curious as to why 1526 was the date, especially if you're talking about, I know Freedom mentioned something about like the copper colored people.
When I say, so somebody just took what I said and rearranged it, said, Sanchez, according to you, white people is not oppressing us. You're right. Your oppressor come in all colors. Right now, Chinese is oppressing America. Let me say this again. Right now, the number one nation that's making our inflation happen, which all of this shit is a game anyway, is China. If you think that your oppressor just has white skin, you must haven't heard of the boule. You should research Steve Coakley. And you should understand that in order for your race to be oppressed by outside races, your own people have to open up the door. Yes, we have gate guards and within our own race that selling us out. No, and, you know, and the thing is, at the top of each race, every race have their gate guards that's helping the cabal gain access to their people because they know their people. They know what they people like, how they people think. People think the oppressor just came over here and studied us in a few fucking years and knew everything about us. That's a lie. The oppressor came over here soon as he got off the ship, and he was a great predator. You would think, man, it didn't take the enemy no time to learn the land, to learn the people, to do all that. Damn, that's pretty good. Don't give him that much credit. He had inside people from us helping him. And y'all forget that. The oppressor ain't just going to people's land and being that smart, knowing about their crops, knowing about their little slang language so he can infiltrate that. Just all the nuances of a land. The oppressor know that shit seemingly a few days after he show up. He's running things. It's like he know he's got intel already. And if you look at how these people work today, they doing the same thing. They don't invade no land without plotting on it first. And chances are they already got some people from that land working with them, telling them everything before they even go over there. They know so much shit before they even come to you because they got sellouts already that's selling their people out with them. And y'all don't think that's a real thing, even though we doing that with other countries right now. That's right. America is taking other folks, paying them money to go against their own native land and to spy on it. We got Chinese Americans right now that are spying on China for us. They was born in America, but they belong to us. They look just like Chinese people. They can blend in. And we will pay them when they join the military to go work against their own people. So this has been going on. Now, the thing about it is, when I say that the white man ain't our oppressor, that's easy to just pin it down to every white. You got white folks living in trailer parks that's being oppressed just like you. And that don't do nothing but make black folks mad at white folks, and that create racial division and a civil war, when guess what? Both of those groups are equally being sold out by their higher ups. The richest white folks selling out the poorest white folks. The richest black folks selling out the poorest ones. And the richest working together at the top while keeping the poorest divided, working against each other at the bottom. It makes them have lack of competition. Because if all the rich working together and they making sure we work against each other, they don't got to compete with us. They children don't got to compete with your children because you too busy arguing with the white man who just as broke as your ass. That's right. And you don't see the game being ran. So like I said, the white man ain't your enemy. I know that sounds crazy. It's just sound different. You've been repeating lies for so long that when someone say the different truth, it's hard to accept. So the white man ain't our enemy. Like I said, and you said, I want us to always need the white man. When did I say that? When did I say that? The point is, you're going to need who you need in your life to get you where the hell you going. If I ask everybody in the chat room who their employer are, most of them going to be hired by some white company. I'm not saying you need the white man. I'm saying you got the white man right now, and that's your reality, and ain't shit you going to do about it. That's right. You go to work with white folks and stock shelves, and you want me to come online and say the white man is my enemy after both of us just got through flipping burgers together, and we both making minimum wage. So I think the system is our enemy. There's a systematic oppression going on that's targeting not only black folks, but a bunch of folks that's in certain positions or whatever. So, yeah, you speaking out of emotions and ego, you let the media program and activate the hate within you, and with that, you can't see clearly. You got misdirected energy.
Or being indigenous, and we know that our roots go much further than 1526. So I was just wondering why was that date? Well, why was that date in particular chosen? If you could just,
Now I'm guessing that's got something to do with the Haitian Revolution, but I don't subscribe to the FBA flag. I don't agree with the date. I'm with y'all on that. My concept of foundational Black American means that we were the first people to set foot on this land. You can't put a date on it. We got to say the first Americans. I'm gonna skip around a bit too. Look like me is what
I guess I have wanted to know more about, like, what is that organizational structure, and then also
Moors. You got all had his version of FBA before Tariq.
Yeah.
And so Tariq just saying, look, that stuff didn't take off like I think it should. Let me reinvent this wheel and see what I can do with my modern, and I think it went far, me personally, I think it's a very positive idea and agenda behind it. Now, a person can judge Tariq Nasheed as a person
that we need to,
because it's so freaking convenient.
Ways of life, those different things, does that affect it? Does it keep us in a, it doesn't? It doesn't keep us in a...
Being FBA and dealing with a bunch of people in the FBA community, again, people may have different religious ideas or spiritual ideas, but they never come up in FBA gatherings because the agenda behind FBA is solely political. No one cares who your God is when I'm dealing, and that's the way it should have been in the beginning. That's why every other group in uniting, we can't, because you got to accept my God before I can be your friend, even though both of us getting lynched in the street. We're the black American tribe. Or remember, they was apart. We're bringing them together. If we're bringing them together, what you ain't got no excuse to be. So let me drop the call-in link one more time to see if anybody with smoke want to come up. Yeah, come on up, man. Let's take a minute. I see y'all chat, man. Come on with the smoke. But y'all can check out this full interview in the video description. I put the link on there. Shout out to Unscrambled Minds for the fire show. It was some brothers got on and they was in their feelings, man. It was crunk. Go and check it out. The link in the description. Come with y'all smoke though. Be divided because FBA ain't asking you to debate your religion and ideology, but every time people say FBA is divisive, they want us to worry about that kind of stuff, which is the weird thing because they look at it the backwards way. Like, okay, when a person say it's deeper than race, we telling you to quit playing chess. It's about tax brackets, dude. You think it's black versus white, but when you look up, it's rich versus poor. That's what you don't realize. A lot of y'all Negroes at the bottom of the and keep complaining about the system and the white man. You don't know that there are a whole bunch of black people who don't have your problems, bro. And because they don't got your problems, they're working against you. This is what you got to understand about the system. The system ain't favoring a particular skin color. It's creating a situation where the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Newsflash, rich people come in all colors in America. Stop me when I lie. Show me one. You think Jay-Z getting broker every day or Jay-Z getting richer every day? He's a black man and he's going to always get richer because when you got a lot of money in this system, it's easier to get more. If you don't, it's hard to even get out the fucking bottom, man. It's such a dynamic. It's crazy because if you got a lot of money already in this country, if you born into wealth, you got a lot of money, you pretty much straight, you're going to accrue more. Money make money. But to start from scratch in America, they have to sell you these Scarface stories and hustled out the soldier, all these miracles and tricks I played, right? But that's what I'm saying, man. Like, the system ain't about black versus white. It's about rich versus poor. That's it. Now, where the black and white come in is that majority of the wealth in this land is white people has the majority of the wealth, which gives them the most of the power. But think about this. Why you mad at the skin color versus the tax bracket? Because this what you got to realize. It ain't white supremacy. It's rich supremacy because you don't think Jay-Z think like a white man now? Yes, he can rap. Yeah, he act black and that and all that. He do hip hop, salutes to his afro. But when it comes down to how he move as a capitalist, he's going to vote to implement certain policies that benefit the rich. People don't say, let me vote to benefit black people. People look at their financial reasons and that's how they vote. We vote for personal reasons. So a lot of people become conservatives, Republicans, whatever, because financially it makes sense to them. That ideology supports their wealth and their agenda and their plans economically. They're in alignment economically with their political agenda. They don't subscribe to a political agenda that's gonna go against their economic agenda. They get in alignment with that, bro. So what you gotta realize, if that's true, it ain't about black power, white power, because if the power is in the pen, black or white people don't push no pen around this bitch. That's right. They both getting divided. And the point is the social status is black and white come from the pen pushers. If you want to really specify, let's talk about the JEWS. Everybody's scared to talk about them. It's easy to blame the trailer park white dude down the street versus the people who got your politicians in their pocket, who buying your leaders like they pancakes, whether they black or white. They become a Zionist puppet. Let me give a shout out to Joshua Tellerton. Shout out to Sister Freedom with Unscrambled Minds in the chat room. Make sure y'all sub up to those sisters. And shout out to Big Dog Philly. We see you. Shout out to all the mods, all the channel members. Adam H., I appreciate you once again for the donation. You bringing all these different minds together, that's divisive. No, we're bringing them together. Remember, they was apart. We're bringing them together. If we're bringing them together, by default, they was already apart. I can't bring something together that's together. So FBA is responding to division, not participating in it, because the divisive state that we're in right now in these divisive groups, neither one of them is all inclusive. But FBA is, and it's all inclusive to all of the different paradigms that Black Nagas in America adopt, and it excludes every other group. It's so. Tell me that ain't the truth, though. Tell me that ain't the truth. If you're a Black Christian, you can't be a Black Muslim. If you're a Black Republican, you can't be a Black liberal. If you're a Black Muslim, you can't also be a Black Buddhist or a Black Hinduist guy, right? If you're into Black nationalism, you can't also be a Black conservative. But no matter what you are, you can be foundational Black American if your lineage is found. Can't nobody take your lineage away. It's like a Jamaican. They can be a Catholic, Muslim, all that, but they still a Jamaican. And all the Jamaicans gonna know, hey, we're still Jamaicans, whether he's a Christian, Buddhist, or whatever, we're still Jamaicans. Hey, shout out to Citizen Man for joining the call. Let me get a mic check from Citizen Man. How you doing, bro?
Doing all right, man. Can you hear me good?
Yeah, I can hear you good enough, and I think that is true for the chat as well. Go ahead. You got it.
All right. Well, I'll say this, man. I'm actually on the same page with you as with the FBA thing, but I did start out as a skeptic because I read Tariq Nasheed's definition of it, and it somehow still linked, foundational Black Americans to African slaves. So I wasn't too much feeling that. But after, listening to you and a couple other folks that rock with you, they kind of put it in perspective for me, and they were like, that's his definition, but this is the way we define it. We define it as the original people of this land, basically, the people who were here, before, during, and after the founding of America. So I kind of had to accept that, because who am I to tell somebody, what's the proper identifier for them? You know what I mean? So once it was brought to my attention that, you guys' definition isn't necessarily the definition that Tariq Nasheed set forth, word for word, I had no choice but to accept it and concede the point. Now, the thing about the whole white man not being the enemy thing, I'm glad that you say that. You know what I'm saying? And I know how difficult it is in the conscious space, especially in the Black conscious space, to make such a statement, because you're going to catch a lot of flack for it and catch a lot of heat, because this has been the narrative that's been preached. You know what I'm saying? But if you just take a look around in the real world, it's people of their own kind hurting their own kind. Like when you look at crime, people talk about Black on Black crime. White on white crime is just as bad, because most crimes are crimes of proximity, and this is who they live around. So a Black criminal is more than likely going to have a Black victim, whereas a white criminal is more likely to have a white victim, because that's the community they live in and that's who they're around. You know what I'm saying? So when people try to dice it up and turn it into a Black versus white thing, I think we're taking 10 steps backwards, because honestly, most of us who are awake to, especially when it comes to the politics, most of us learned that shit from white people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From listening to the white folks. And this is why I when I go back and I look at the history of like Tulsa and all that, and the small hats and the role they played with instigating both sides against each other, it all makes perfect sense. There's this outside group that's not Black or white, but they're pinning black people and white people against each other so we don't communicate with each other because we see each other as enemies. And if we were to communicate with each other, we figure out very quickly who the real enemy is.
That's
And
right.
to your statement about with the spy thing, right? That's exactly what Israel did to Iran. They used Iranian citizens to create their own spy network within Iran. So these people that were working against their own government on behalf of Israel were Iranian citizens. So who would ever suspect that they were working for Israel, right?
Facts.
So
Yep.
it's a diabolical thing that they do. And I'm glad that you point out that, you know, the color thing doesn't really have much bearing on it. It's really about, you know, where your loyalty lies. Are you loyal to your country? Are you loyal to your people? Or are you just falling for the propaganda and helping to sell the division? So I appreciate your perspective on that. And also, last thing, your that stream that you did about the Vikings, awesome shit, bro.
Thank you.
I did a stream talking about the Khazarian Mafia and the Khazarian Kingdom. And would you know, the Khazarians are the small hats today. And the Vikings were one of the first groups that actually went to war with the Khazarians, and then the Russians stepped in, and then the Muslims and the Christians stepped in, and that's what destroyed the Khazarian Kingdom. So the fact that you brought up the Vikings and, you know, and the small hats being at odds with each other is actually quite profound, and there's a lot of history to support that. So shout out to you for that, bro.
That's man. I appreciate you too, man, because this stuff ain't rare, man. People think that white people, anybody with white skin, trace back to the person that hopped off of that ship, that those colonizer ships, and that ain't true. I used to tell people all the time there were white people in America before the colonizers. What? White people? There were the Vikings. You can actually research this, you know. But that's what I was saying about the white folks we see getting oppressed in America. They lost their country too. That's why you see all of these white guys mad as hell at, you know, what's going on in America and shit now, as well as black folks. Like, people don't realize the people who control this country, black and white folks, the main two dynamics that's steering this shit, hip hop, country music, right? Them, when they first came over here, the small hats were the ones on the ships. The Pilgrims are not all white people, is what I'm telling y'all. You got Pilgrims and Vikings. So I think a lot of people think if you're white, you just a small hat. But dude, the small hats are the Pilgrims. Those are a specific theological group of white folks who don't even consider themselves white. They look at white people as beneath them too. So a lot of our people don't know that. I'm glad you spread that, man. Shout out to the chat.
Yeah, man. It even goes back to the British Empire. Funny, and grandfather was a Scotsman, and his last name was Stewart, right, of the House of Stewart. And I was doing some research on that pirate Blackbeard. I don't know, because I'm black and I got a beard, so I was just like, the shit was Queen Anne's Revenge, and Queen Anne was from the House of Stewart, which was the original royal family before the Battenbergs came from Transylvania, or wherever the hell they came from, and took over the British crown in the late 1600s, early 1700s. And that's what led to the piracy. That's what led to the American Revolution and the war against the British crown. Now, the crazy thing is, with that knowledge, the current British royal family is not the legitimate family, and they're a bunch of small hats too. That's why their last name is Battenberg, that they try to hide that. You know what I'm saying? So these people have been in power for a very, very long time, and they conquered the world by conquering the British Empire and taking over the throne. Once they got control of the throne, they were able to get control of the Vatican. Once they got control of the Vatican, they were able to control the slave trade. Once they controlled the slave trade, it was a wrap. You know what I'm saying? They took over the banking industry, and that's why they turned the constitutional republic, which is what this country originally was supposed to be, into a corporation. You know what I'm saying? So it all ties together, and it all goes back to this one particular group of people. and the deception that the wool that they've pulled over everybody's eyes to keep us divided. It's literal divide and conquer at its finest, like master level divide and conquer, bro.
That's facts. A lot of people say the collar, the small hats were the pilgrims were Puritans, not Jews. It's all the same. It's all the same. Like I can't express to you more of how they've just edited history to hide who the enemy is. And you think it's all these different groups, it's the same people. Let me just share some with y'all real quick, because a lot of folks will say, well, it was Puritans, it wasn't Jews. No, bro, it's all the same people. The people that gave us the Bible, the King James Bible, the people that founded this country, they were all the same. Here go the Puritans right here. What you want to look at is the dress code. Just look at the dress code. You ain't got to do nothing but look at the dress codes. Look, let me share some with y'all. Look at how the pilgrims dress. If you literally go on Google and put in the word pilgrim and put in the word Puritan, it'll give you the same images because it's the same people. Look at how they dress, like the founding fathers, right? Like Abraham Lincoln and all them. That's the colonizer. Look up pilgrims, look up Puritans. Look, I'm doing it right here. You see my Google search, Puritans. Each one gonna give you the same images. The people look dressed like the dude on the oatmeal box. It's the same people. And they both got the Bible and they both coming over here giving it to you. So I'm not specifying. I'm looking at them saying, wait a minute, both of these are foreigners doing the same thing. They may saying they different, but our ancestors looked at them, hey, that's just the invader. So it's like, if it's easy for a foreigner going to China to look at all the people as the same, but they actually have distinct groups among themselves. And when the enemy came to our land, we didn't care about his distinct little groups. We just said, that's those people that came on the ship. They dressed this way. Now, I'm pretty sure the pilgrims had different kind of pilgrims and different things, but we saw them as all the same, man. We saw them as they all boil grits outside in the big black pot. They all wear leprechaun shoes. They all wear the big witch hat like this. And that is not white people ancestors. Let me show you where white people come from. And you know the difference between a Viking and a pilgrim? We wore metal. We didn't wear linen and Stacey Adams. And when they came to this land, just like you had black people, black Olmecs, wearing them big metal helmets like Magneto. Watch this. One thing about the Olmecs and the Vikings, they wore metal. They were working and bending metal. They were blacksmiths. Now the Vikings are older than the Pilgrims. The Pilgrims were woodworkers. The Pilgrims lived in huts with mud roofs. The Pilgrims were not blacksmiths. The Pilgrims were masters at wood, and they would carve their own nails and make shabby shacks. Now think about this. The Pilgrims tell you that they created the steel industry. The Pilgrims took credit. They took credit for all this history, but that was a group of white people in America before any other white invaders showed up, and they were called Vikings. And they didn't work with wood. They had metal armor just like the Olmecs did. Y'all need to research, man. Because once I show you some white folks in America working with metal, I just crushed the Puritans and the Pilgrims, and you don't see that. That's a chess move. That's right. You can't undo that. That's a dagger. The people that if y'all are saying there were no indigenous white folks in America, guess what's one common thing about all the indigenous people of America? They were blacksmith, stone workers, metal workers. So the further back you go in America, the more advanced the people get. It ain't the more dumber they get. History lied to y'all. When the colonizer showed up, he was living in wooden huts. And then now he telling everybody we was living in teepees, in mud teepees. They rewrote history. And they said when we showed up on these people land, they was in the jungle naked living in teepees talking about, ooh. When they showed up on our land, it was already black and white people in different colors integrated, and they had stone cities. Steel, they were working with steel and stone. They weren't wood workers. They were steel and stone workers. The wood workers came over on wooden ships. They got off their wooden ships building wooden shacks in a stone empire. Let that sink in. These folks got off their wooden ships building wooden cities, talking about lumberjacks like Paul Bunyan. Paul Bunyan ain't got nothing on a stone worker, a metal worker. He's a lumberjack. He's working with wood. That's baby stuff. When these people showed up on our land, we was carving stone like butter, and they was carving wooden sculptures that couldn't even compete with the stone shit we carved. How do I carve a stone structure smoother than you carving a wooden one? You got to let that sink in. Y'all don't do enough research. There was an integrated advanced civilization in America before the colonizers showed up, and America was already integrated with black, white people and other skin colors. And they had a stone empire, wasn't no division. The Vikings is just the white Olmecs. I'm giving you some knowledge. The Vikings are the white Olmecs, and the Olmecs are the black Vikings. And whoever made the Olmecs headgear, they made the Vikings headgear. That's right. I'm going to say this again. Whoever made the Olmec metal helmet, mind you, metal helmet, like Magneto, whoever crafted these metal headdresses that we see on the Olmec, that's the same stuff we see with the Vikings. This the same people, they just different colors. See, they ain't telling you the Vikings are the white Olmecs because they don't want you to think America was all been integrated, been a melting pot, dude. This shit old, man. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy, man. Let me fall back.
It was amazing is that metal work is what is probably, this is just my opinion, what made the Vikings take a liking to the Olmecs when they came here and allowed them to integrate. Because it's like, you know, you smoke weed, I smoke weed, right? So if we were to meet up together somewhere, we didn't really know each other, and I had weed and you had blunts, it's like the how high situation, you know, got blunts, got weed, and then now we vibing, we chilling. Because we share a similar, you know, a similar liking. You know what I'm saying? So you'll show me how you roll, I'll show you how I roll, and we kicking it. Same thing with the Vikings and the Olmecs. The Olmecs had their way of working metal, and the Vikings wanted to see how they worked metal and then show the Olmecs how they work metal, and they vibe. They had no reason to beef with each other or war with each other because, you know, they had similar skill sets and they worked with similar materials, so they had more in common than what divided them and what separated them. You know what I'm saying? And then here comes, you know, the Woody Woodpeckers over here, small hats, and they have a totally different craft. And, they could have been a vein of jealousy because, these guys could produce better materials than we can, or, a need to want to take it over and monetize it somehow. You know what I'm saying? So there's more of a motive there because these guys come from a totally different craft. There's more of a motive there to disrupt what the Vikings and the Olmecs had going on in order for them to take control. A reason to divide and conquer.
Yeah, people just need to. I think the main thing I want people to take though is black and white people ain't always looked at each other and said, "Oh, let's fight." That happened. Let me explain something to y'all. Black and white people, the people with what we call black skin and white skin, or shades of brown, shades of white. They've coexisted in harmony, is what I'm telling you. That was a history that was deleted of an integrated world where no one was divided with skin color, and it was an advanced utopia of stone, steel workers, and advanced technology. For you to build a kind of world that the ancients lived in, you ain't got time to be wiping each other out because your skin black. They was into advanced spiritual shit. And the vibration that the world was on in, then nobody even acknowledged the fact that, oh, you're a black man, you're a white man. We de-evolved. That's new shit. To put that on the pyramid builders, to me, that's disrespectful to say that they think like us, bro, when we've been dumbed down and divided like a motherfucker. Like, you don't put that on the ancient people because they mind wasn't as dumb as like an ancient person ain't gonna be mad at a white dude who live in a trailer park just because he white. You think that a person that built the pyramid and lined it up with the star is that easy to fucking program like us and give our biases to? We try to project our current de-evolved state on the ancients. But, you know, one thing is true. The way that the Viking helmets is made, it's similar to the Olmecs with this one line down the middle. That's a key feature. So I was like, we got to think about the fact that, yeah, man, everything we've been told ain't the truth. In your world, you born into a world where black and white is just hate each other. But that wasn't the ancients people's reality, y'all. And we can't put that on them in their reality. It's ours.
And bro, just to support your point about the ancient world being integrated, if you look up right now on Google what year in this land was interracial marriage outlawed, it's like the early 1600s. So that means prior to interracial marriage being outlawed, there was interracial marriage. Because why else would they have to outlaw it if it wasn't happening? And
Right.
I think the exact year is like 1630 or something like that.
That's facts. These are facts. And the crazy thing about the ancient world being integrated, for people who subscribe to the Bible, and there's a lot of Christians and people who subscribe to the Bible who they don't believe that the white man, you know, was integrated. They going against what I'm saying, but their Bible backs up what I'm saying, because the Bible talks about the pre-Babel civilizations before God divided, before the biblical God divided us, because the biblical God ain't the true God. That's the oppressor, turning all of us against each other. Even the Bible say people was united. They had different colors, but they spoke one language. It was different skin tones all around the world, but we all was one frequency. Even the Bible talk about that, and it say that would end it when God saw us building the Babel Towers. Guess what the Babel Tower is? The pyramid network system we built around the world. It's pyramids in every country, and these were all connected wirelessly through the ether. But at the same time, it showed the unity. It showed that the United Nations ain't doing nothing new. We already had world peace with a real organic United Nations, if that make any sense. And what they did, they created the United Nations, which is all of the rich united against the poor. And they want to keep their nations divided while they stay United Nations.
What they did was they plagiarized and they bastardized the concept of what the original United Nations would have been. So they played on that nostalgia of this beautiful integrated world where all the nations work together, so we all would agree with it. But they basically used that as a cover to set up their worldwide system of control. Because even if you look at the drug laws, the United Nations have their own drug schedule. And if you look at the drug prohibition laws from country to country, the language, the way those laws are written, it's identical to the way the laws are written in the United Nations compacts. So it's like they all got together, they came up with these rules and then passed them out to all their member nations, and then the representatives from the member nations will come back to their nations, pass that legislation on to the legislative bodies of those countries. Then the legislative bodies then pass those laws as if they originated here in our country, when in fact they came from the world government. Basically, that's how they implemented world government, while still, projecting the falsehood of national sovereignty.
These are facts, man. I want y'all to like and share the video. Go and follow Citizen Man over there on his channel as well, man. Shout out to Willie North Pole, man. Shout out to the bro Willie North Pole. Much love to you, my brother. You already know it. I got to hit you up, man. But I'm not gonna play no more.
Am I the only one on the panel?
We got Sister Alexis up here too. I didn't pin the link. I just drop it throughout the show. Matter of fact, it's time to drop it again.
Yeah, man. Let's get some more people up here, man. I feel like I'm stealing the show. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, man. It's been a good one though with you. And I'll say I just think FBA gets a lot of flack because of who Tariq Nasheed is. And yeah, Tariq Nasheed, I've been telling folks, in a way, he is a Pan-African. He do believe that we only became exclusive through ethnogenesis, but we were Africans. Tariq, and I call that the Krispy Kreme donut theory. And I'm gonna tell you why. When you get donuts from Krispy Kreme, they all start from that glaze, and they just put the chocolate icing and all that shit over. That's why they be hella sweet. Like, the thing is, people think all humans start from the original glaze, that African, and then whatever they become after that is just coated on top of that original glaze. And that ain't true. All humans start with not shit on them, and then they get their own unique flavor just on the damn bread. Ain't no original glaze layered first. Shout out to Cigarettes 100. Watch and smoke marijuana cigarette. Hey, thanks for the donation, Cigarettes 100s. But what do you mean? Oh, watch a video. Oh, shout out to Awakening Minds joining. Is it a video title, Cigarettes? Shout out to Awakening Minds.
Hey, salutes, my brother. Much respect. Can you hear me well?
Oh yeah.
Okay, salute, citizen man. Also, bro, I'm glad you touched on this topic again too. And even bringing up the Vikings and them again. But when Citizen Man had brought up Queen Anne, she and King Louis, this is how they converted the Louisiana territory. You remember how if you look at the 1500 maps, you'll see it's a big old territory before it was even called Louisiana Territory. And when they gave up that land through the Belfort Act, that shit helped create the state of Israel from the French. That land over there as well. So a lot of them, just like Citizen Man was saying, yeah, that they do come from the Khazarian family as well. The Stewarts, the Windsors, even like the French side of it, to where you can get Italians and all that. So it's like a melting pot of controllers came to this land. You know what I'm saying? They saw the unison people was working it and surviving, and they kind of like flipped it through the monetary system. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So he was right about that, man. And like my family, half of my family that's from Jamaica. In Jamaica, they're from St. Anne, St. Anne's Bay. Like you see that around so many places, Anne, Louisiana, all of it,
Mm-hmm.
the Saints, even why they even called the Saints, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But, so I was just listening to y'all,
facts.
man. I was like, that's facts, man. That monetary system fucked us over a lot too, as well as the religion.
Did. Yeah, man. Shout out to the chat room. And We don't got no smoke. I'm surprised ain't nobody coming on with smoke for FBA, man. I'm gonna drop the link again. But if you don't got smoke for FBA, do you have smoke with the idea of white people being indigenous to the land? White indigenous people that was always here, just like the Olmecs, just like the black indigenous people. And how did I come up with that concept? It's simple. There's been a lot of deleted history. This is what y'all got to realize. By default, we got to assume that the whole world was already integrated. If the earth we living in is anything over a billion or even over a million years old, you got to ask yourself, how long does it take for different types of people to meet up with each other and mate? It don't take but a few hundred years. A million, that's overkill. A billion, oh, the world is like a smoothie at that point. That's like saying, I'm going to leave a bunch of different dog types in the house. I'm going to come back in a million years and they ain't going to been a fucked each other. You got to quit thinking so simple. Now, let me explain something to y'all. The reason we think that the world wasn't already integrated is because they the one changed our viewpoint of human origins. They said life started in Africa. And right there, if life start from one group of humans that spread out and put it everyone else, then the world wasn't integrated at the same time. Integration had to take place after each group was created. And then, you see what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is this. What if, in the beginning, all diversity was created? Whatever created the earth, it created everything in all colors, like flowers, trees, different shit, even humans. In the beginning, it just created whatever it created, it variated it in multiple ways and colors and types, so, and nothing had to really mate with each other to get these different variated forms. It is a result of the creator having the thought to say, I want to make things diverse. Because what the creator could have did was make an apple the same everywhere, right? But the creator said, you know what, with each little continent, I'm going to make the apple different, or what we call the creator, or however this diversity came. Whatever process you explain how this diversity came about, because you may say, well, that was an original land called Eden. And we took all the seeds from Eden and made a different strand of apple everywhere we went when we left Eden. You can make your own thing up. But what I want to acknowledge is diversity in the beginning, not something that got to come later by me meeting you and you meeting him and we getting it on. We, because that would to say, well, how did the diversity come in the ocean or in the plant life kingdom? Did every plant have to meet up with each other and mate with the other one? But yeah, I'll fall back. Oh, I thought someone was.
Bliss you, bliss. Much bliss.
Yeah, same to you, Awakening. You got it, bro.
Oh, my bad, bro. I ain't even know I was on mute. My bad, man.
Oh, I thought you was. Yeah,
Nah.
you fine.
Nah.
So I'm not saying I'm wrong, I'm right, but what I'm not doing is going with what they told me. Now, white people told me they weren't here in the beginning, but they also told me that the first humans were the dumbest. Now, it don't take a rocket scientist to see the game that's being ran on you with eugenics and scientific racism right there. Does it? Because you proud to be black, but do you know what black mean at law? It also means dumb at law. If you look up the etymology of black and the legal terms for black, you'll be like, man, that's crazy. When they saying black, they not talking about your skin color. They talking about your genetics and what are your capabilities. When person hear black, they hear incompetence. And you don't get it. You hear skin tone. I'm proud of my skin. You don't see you falling right into a game. And they gave you your mentality and you don't fucking question it. You hate the enemy so much, but you don't question the mentality that the enemy gave you. You defend it. The enemy told y'all, I wasn't here first. Y'all was here first, but the first humans was dumb as hell. And they was scratching their ass with plant leaves on their body, and the white man came later and he was so smart, and he built, because they teach in their science that the oldest things are the dumbest things, and intelligence is a result of time and evolution. So if you think about what they teach in science, nobody would want to be first. And when you look around the world, all the people who hip to this game, they're saying, oh no, we weren't first. For sure, black people were first, man. You guys were first by all means. And it, with a little grin on their face, and you suck it up like, yeah, we were first. But you don't get what's going on with scientific racism. And you ought to question it the moment everybody starts saying, oh yeah, y'all first, y'all first. You ought to say, wait a minute now, hold on now. Why they telling the truth about my history now? I thought they supposed to be lying about my history. The white, you should be saying, no, you weren't first, man. I was first. You should be, you see what I'm saying? But they say, oh yeah, black people were definitely first. Yeah, shit, stupid nigga, you were first, right? They're saying you're a monkey. You're Australopithecus. And then when they call you a monkey, you get mad, but you calling yourself a monkey. It's just stupid, man. Shout out to the OG Leo. I'm leaving the floor open for the OG. Much love. Joe.
Hey, shout out my brother Sanchez. Much love and respect always. Flat motherfucking power. And everybody in the chat and the audience. I haven't tapped in on the panel in a minute. You know, I love the topics, you know, FBA and, you know, everything you're talking about. So I'm just tapping in, brother. I'll tap in a little later, but I'm here. Give you support, like always, my brother. Much respect. And much love to everybody on the panel and in the chat.
People don't want to let go of what they thought was right. They don't want to redefine who they are, even if they look in the mirror and realize who they are was built on a bunch of lies that their enemy told them. They will wage war with their enemy, but they won't make a lick count because you got the mentality of your enemy. He gave you your paradigm that you're so attached to. The worst thing you can do is fully separate from the shit you've been taught. Again, your enemy taught you was first and he was last. And you will argue with me and he's right. But in other instances, you will say he's lying about our history. Which one is it? Is he right or wrong about this shit now? You can't pick and choose, but see, that's what we do. Because we want to be the line leader. I was first. Like, it's childish, man. There may not even be a beginning to this shit. Talking about proving who first, we can't even prove there was a first. Let's get to that part. That's right. A lot of our ancestors said this shit always was and it always will be. There is no beginning or end to it. Now that'll be hard for y'all to grasp, won't it? I know. Just because your mind can't grasp it don't mean it ain't true either. I'm going to drop the link again. Let me drop this link again. See if we can get some smoke. Because I know not everyone
Sanchez, what you just said was a super fact. Because basically, the beginning stories are all based on theology and mythology, not reality. You know, they give us, like you've been saying, this reality of a creation story. Is it the Big Bang or is it Adam and Steve or Adam and Eve? You know what I mean? But excellent point,
Yeah.
my brother.
Much love for sure. Because when you say the earth was created, well, where's the creator? What is he? Let's now. But see, the thing is this: I think the earth is a paradox. It's had a beginning and it's don't. And how that work is this: it's like a movie that's planned, and the movie don't have a beginning. It's been planned, and it ain't gonna end. But you show up and start watching the movie, that's your beginning. And when you leave the theater, that's your ending. But that don't mean that that movie got a beginning and an ending. And that's how I look at life. Life, this world, we was born into a series of events that was planned out before we was born. And when you leave, it's going to be still going. And ain't no proof that this place got a beginning or an ending. Only thing you can prove is your beginning and ending and coming into this thing. And that's how a lot of ancestors looked at this place too. You got different concepts along those lines that is just no beginning and no ending to it. And that you the only thing that's beginning and ending. You're becoming conscious of something that always was before your little light came on in conception and birth, according to some of the great minds of the past. But, we ain't got to go too deep on it. Salutes to the chat and salutes to the people who have supported the show. We do got a mud fossil interview at 4:00. So what I'm going to do here, I just dropped the link. Well, I'm going to shut down then because we are not getting no smoke or nobody else to join for smoke. And I'm going to just go and start preparing. I got a 2-hour break. And then listen, for anyone who know about petrified giants, mud fossil claims, I'm telling everyone in my community, stay away from that stuff. It is a psyop. It's just not true. It's not true, and I'm not going to be debating the guy today because I'm going to let him do his thing. But what's going on is a skeptic's interview. He know that I'm the skeptic, and his job to prove it to me. So it's not a debate. It's me being skeptical and allowing him to convince me to not be skeptical. So I got to give him a flow to present himself to. And at the end of it, either I'm going to be in for it or not, but it's going to be a good show because in order to convince me, I'm going to ask a lot of hard questions. And if he can answer them, then, hey, man, I'm kind of going to lean toward it. But is there anyone on a call now that gets into, that's a huge community too, man. It's sad that a lot of people are victims of what's called the pareidolia effect, where our minds see faces in clouds. Our minds see a body in a mountain and say, oh, that's a giant that turned into a rock. Wow, man, really? People rather go with that than research how our minds work. Our minds are very complicated things, and we see familiar patterns in everything. So this is something I'm serious about. A lot of people hate me for it. You're an agent, man. You're hiding the giants. You're hiding the big giants. Now, check this out now. It's crazy that in 2026, you got grown people believing in dragons and giants the size of continents. That is just fucking immature, man. I can see a giant the size of Shaq or a giant the size of Yao Ming or I can see that. A nigga that gotta duck his head to walk through your front door, I can see that. But a human walking around the size of a continent, get the people. Damn, man, the world is getting crazy, bro, man. But hey, it just creates more content. Content I wouldn't rather make. No, it's not Roger. It's what's his name? His name is Joe Hoskins. Joe Hoskins. So if y'all into that, man, that's what we doing at 4 p.m. on Bro Sanchez TV. I'll see y'all over there. Salutes to the panel. I appreciate all of y'all for hopping on. Awakening Citizen, Alexis, OG Leo, appreciate y'all. And I'll see y'all at 4 if y'all there.
Be there, bro.